In the Green Bay model, Daniel Jones is playing the role of Aaron Rodgers. So much confusion about this. Go ahead, Dan. I'll give you the floor first. I know you were as stunned as anybody by this.
Yeah, shocked. My reasoning is this. Like, when you watch tape on Daniel Jones, you go, he's good. There's nothing that wows you. He's not a sixth-pick wow. And I would challenge anybody at home, when you watch Daniel Jones, to go find something in Clemson. You watch the Clemson game, which is going to be, at least a defensive talent-wise, most representative of an NFL roster. He struggled. And then struggled against a defense that was bad last year in college football against Wake. So there's so many moments of struggle, missing open receivers, not finding completions. This is what the tape says. The tape doesn't go, this is worthy of being the sixth pick. And now the Giants have taken him and said, hey, you were good in college. That's all Daniel Jones was good. He was solid. Now, taking you at the sixth pick, we expect you to be great. That's where sometimes in the NFL, these general managers and teams mess up, taking a guy and asking him to be something he's never been.
What was your reaction, Marcus, especially when you consider the way the draft was falling to that point?
You don't have to justify the sixth pick in the draft. We haven't sat here any years with the person picked 6 that you saying maybe he'll sit for 3 years or maybe he'll be this. What the hell is Dave Gettleman talking about? when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at him interviewing, I'm looking at Pat Shermer sitting next to him.
Did you see his body language?
You don't. Oh, the response to a 6th pick in the NFL draft and your head coach sitting there like this. What the hell are we doing? Greeny, listen, regardless of what homework they did, all right, and obviously they sent the card in, they wanted this kid. But if I'm Daniel Jones and I'm looking at this interview, my GM is already making excuses for me not to be the guy. At the 6th pick in the draft. Now I get it, the CBA, and you have the ability to let these guys linger a lot more. You don't have to pay them $60 million coming out of college anymore. But damn it, if I'm Daniel Jones, I'm looking at Coach Shermer and I'm looking at my GM saying they're hoping I'm a good quarterback.
Here's the thing. When you watch Daniel Jones, like last year, we had that run of quarterbacks. Like Lamar Jackson, you could justify it. He was a freak athlete. Josh Allen, you could justify it. Big arms. Sam Darnold, creativity. Baker Mayfield, his accuracy. There's nothing trait-wise of Daniel Jones that you can justify the move. There's nothing uncoachable where you go, I can't coach that athleticism or that arm into him.
And to your point, Dan, the film is what the film is.
Right.
Like we're not here to bash this kid.
Right.
Now, welcome to New York, Daniel Jones. But the film is what the film is, and you wouldn't have took Daniel Jones before anybody last year, and you damn sure shouldn't have took him before Dwayne Haskins.
And the expectations are not for him to be good.
Great,
which he was in college. You're supposed to be great now.
All right,
Look, Dwayne Haskins threw 50 touchdowns last year. Daniel Jones threw 52 touchdowns in 3 seasons. I'm told Adam Schefter wants back in here. Go ahead, Shefty.
Well, Green, before the draft yesterday, I was told that the Giants had Daniel Jones and Drew Lock as quarterbacks 1 and 1A in this draft. And the draft is all about value. And the fact that they had those 2 quarterbacks with such similar rankings tells you something. In another world, in a different time, the Giants could have gone defense at 6, defense at 17, and then been there today or traded back into the bottom of the first round as they did to get DeAndre Baker to go take, at that point in time, Drew Lock, who they had a similar grade on. They could have come away with 2 of the top defensive players with their first 2 picks. Then there wouldn't be some of the pressure and the expectations that come along with being the 6th overall pick that you guys are talking about. Once you are taken at that spot, everybody does expect great things. And that puts even more pressure on a player. And again, it's just a question of how you play out the draft, the value you find at each spot. The Giants put the value on getting Daniel Jones right away. But make no mistake, there were people who felt like they had Drew Lock and Daniel Jones almost side by side. And if they had waited, they could have taken Drew Lock, who's still on the board right now.
And listen, I'm at the risk of casting aspersions on their scouting department. Drew Lock didn't get picked last night, and that was the other guy that they liked. All right, Laura, I'm told you have someone over there who might sort of defend this move. I'm dying to hear this.
Listen, I mean, we're all trying to make sense of it. And look, I hope for Daniel Jones' sake that he ends up proving us all wrong. But you see this man right here, Dominic Foxworth, who's getting ready for this. We got Bobby Carpenter, too. How would you defend this pick?
This is it. So culture in a football locker room is almost as important as anything else. It's more important than scheme. You need everyone to be on the same page. You need everyone working together. And I think if you look at the decisions that Gettleman's made from last year to this year, It's about culture. He's getting rid of guys like Snacks Harrison, getting rid of big personalities like Collins and Beckham. He's bringing in guys like Daniel Jones. If you saw his interview last night and you see anything about him, he's kind of the prototypical good little soldier type of guy. Then you go to Dexter Lawrence, who is a guy who decided to go back to college to win a national championship when he could have come out last year and got a first-round pick. And then when you go to the corner that they drafted, he was the third best corner at best on most draft boards. He's a guy who ran a 4.5 at the combine. He's not a guy who's necessarily the best cover guy in zone or man, but he's a big culture guy. He's one of the leaders on the team. He's going to hit. He's going to do those things. And I think that's the way that you defend this decision is you look at the Patriots and you say the Patriots is not full. Their roster has never been full of great talent. Their roster is about continuity and culture and flexibility. And I think that's the best way. If I'm his defense attorney and I don't want him to do any time in draft jail, I'm going in front of the judge and I'm saying, this is a culture play, not necessarily a talent play.
Yeah, I mean, draft jail is calling, Bobby. I think at the end of the day, I get it with the culture thing, but you got to be able to play, right?
You have to be able to play. And you look at teams that they say have good culture. What do those teams usually have in common? They're winning.
Yeah.
The Jacksonville Jaguars, they had great culture when they're winning and going to the AFC Championship game. All of a sudden, then, they struggle. Blake Bortles struggles. There's dissension in the locker room. So you can have all the culture you want. And to me, with Daniel Jones, there's a little bit of that same issue where you have a quarterback that's not all that accurate. Right. And so you're not going to be able to convert on third down, and you're going to have some issues long-term with that.
But the talent differential in this league is so small. I think we often overestimate how big the talent differential is. And I think the difference in the teams that are consistently good is that culture stuff, the way that they prepare for the games, their expectations and the responsibilities they have to each other. I think they've erred a little far away from talent when you think Odell Beckham is a guy you should get rid of, but Daniel Jones is a guy you should bring in. But that is the argument to defend him.